So do you mind giving us just an overview? You and I were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Can you give everyone a sense of just, I mean, not to, bias this, but just how bad the situation really is down there at the southern border?
Okay, yeah, it's yeah, we're at war. We're definitely at war, Steve, and it's and I think the Biden administration is plotting the surrender, but we are definitely having trouble. We go down to Eagle Pass and you see the Mexican side is just lit up like a Christmas tree. They've got lights all over the place. You can see everything. On our side, they brought out generator powered floodlights, but there was no, it's always pitch dark. They don't turn them on at night because most of the time they don't have fuel in them. The National Guard told us, they're supposed to get fuel on Tuesday. We were back out there Thursday and Friday. It was still pitch dark out there. The US side operates complete blackout. There is nothing out there as far as light. So we operate in the dark. We do have night vision, and for sometimes, so you talk about the situation, the National Guard it's not only Texas National Guard. There's other states contributing. I believe there's South Dakota. I think Christy Nome is providing some help, and
oh wow, and maybe, okay, great.
So other units, but it depends on the unit, and they're equipped differently. So sometimes we're down there talking with the National Guards. We always, when we get there, we always check in with them first, find out who the NCO in charge is, get their number so we can collaborate and just chat with them. And we found sometimes where they have, they've got their M4 rifles, but they have no ammunition. One young girl, she's 18 or 19 years old. She told me she brings her own ammunition because she doesn't know if she's going to get issued any. We were out there. We had a donated, or someone had lent us a thermal drone so we could take thermal imaging along the river from above. And we had a thermal drone out there, and the National Guard was like, wow, I wish we had one of those. We did have night vision for a while, but they took them away. So this one unit was out there that had in pitch dark with no night vision capability. So we were actually out there better equipped than them. And like I said, this is just one unit, one night. We don't know if this is continuous. Others have been out there as well. We've had some National Guard soldiers.
I was just going to say one night is too many. I mean, that's just, they shouldn't be having this issue in any way, shape, or form. But considering who we have in the White House, and considering who's in charge of the border too, our vice president. So.
Right. We've been out there at Eagle Pass at Shelby Park, right there where the boat ramp is, a couple times where there was like some kind of press conference going on. Like Greg Abbott was down there once, our governor, and maybe some Congress people. And when they do that, you see that whole park just fill up with state police cars, Humvees, everything just fills up the park. And there's people all over the place. And it looks like we've got a really formidable border. As soon as that news conference is over, they all leave.
Wow.
We have a Jeep and a truck down there, and there's usually one National Guard Humvee with the soldiers in it or right around it. And half a mile away, there's another Humvee with soldiers in it or right around it. The only time we see actual Border Patrol agents is when we call them, and they come, and it's usually just one agent in a van to pick up the people that we found. So they aren't patrolling.
You're an honorary Texan here. Is there anything that Governor Abbott can do more than he's already doing?
That's hard to say. I don't know what's limiting him. I think other than federal the federal regulations, because he has had the National Guard there along some portions of the border. The National Guard is there, and they have pretty high chain link fences with barbed wire on them, and there's gates, and they close the gates. The National Guard will close the gates and lock them so no one can come through, and the federal agents from the Border Patrol will come and unlock them and tell everybody to back off. They have to let people through. So that's happened a couple times while we're there.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much the state trumps the federal authority on the border.
I mean, he was supposed to declare an invasion, a formal invasion, and then the Constitution gives states rights the states the right to defend themselves. It doesn't have to be against an actual army. It can be against, looters, pirates. It can be all kinds of things. It doesn't have to be any particular, they don't have to be at war with Mexico per se or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah, and then that's supposed to give them a tremendous amount of emergency powers, but from what you're saying, we're just not seeing it. We're not seeing. Yeah, actions concomitant with the rhetoric.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot of talk, and we're not seeing them much. Now, there is a House Bill 20 that was just put into the Texas legislature that would promote a what they call a border protection force, which would actually provide for bringing a force of militiamen or other folks together for training and basically deputizing,
Right.
that would be able to augment, the state police, the Department of Public Safety, the sheriff's departments, and those folks that are already working down there. So that would be, a step they could take. But the problem with that is once you become part of that border protection force, you are, deputized, you work for the sheriff, or you work for the DPS, or you work for the National Guard. You're under their authority, and
Right.
you assume a lot more liability. So,
Right.
I mean, we all know how the courts are treating our law enforcement nowadays.
That's for sure. Yeah,
So,
danged if you do, danged if you don't.
right.
I've got more questions, but Hannah, do you want to open it up to our audience here if they have some questions they want to ask Dave?
Yeah. Go ahead and put questions, everyone, in the Q&A chat. I see a few here, so maybe we'll ask a question, then we'll throw it back to you, Steve.
Absolutely.
Can you return fire or open fire if someone points a firearm at you if you are on U.S. soil? From Jim in Michigan.
Yep. Our general rules of engagement are, if we are fired upon from across the river from Mexico, we cannot return fire. That is not allowed. Being private citizens on U.S. soil, if our lives are in danger or our team is in danger, we can return fire and use deadly force. That's just basic, self-defense.
Yeah, Second Amendment.
Exactly. This question is from Terry. He says, have you heard about the Texas nationalist movement or the bill to set up a referendum on forming a Texas Independent Study Committee? Why doesn't Governor Abbott quit chubbing the bill and give it his full support? I see you smiling there.
As a matter of fact, I have heard of the Texas nationalist movement. I am a member, and I was just asked to be the Tyler team lead for them as well. So,
wow. Tell us a bit about that for those that are watching that might not know much about it, might have heard of it, but don't have a whole lot of background.
Yeah, so the Texas nationalist movement is basically the third largest political party or political movement in Texas, behind the Republicans and Democrats. It's made up of, I think, 468,000 Texans now have signed on as members. And what we're trying to do is basically get a vote on whether or not Texas should remain as part of the United States of America, as part of the nation. The Texas nationalist movement would like to get Texas to be its own nation again. If we were, it would be I think it's the 9th or 10th largest economy in the world, over Canada, even over Canada. So we did get a legislative victory this time, where we did get the bill in front of the legislature. We just have to get it a committee hearing now and get more support for it from other legislatures. But Texas, is not, it's not the mecca of Republicans and conservatives. There are as many rhinos in Texas as there are everywhere else. So it's a fight. It's always a fight. But yeah, the Texas nationalist movement is working to get a vote so that Texans can decide whether they want to remain in the union or not.